Our message affirmation this morning is I create my future. And a lot of us are walking through life and we feel that, well, so much of the future depends on, what my boss says or what my spouse or partner says or, how my children turn out. We assign the things about our future, how they're all going to happen or how things are going to turn out based on all these outside events and people. But the reality is nobody but you has any real control over your future. But you've got to take that control. And it all starts up here. It starts in the mind. And we have to believe that and understand that. All the good things that we put into our mind, our good positive thoughts, our positive acts and words and deeds, definitely make us the people that we want to be. They take us to the future we want. And I know a lot of times these concepts are kind of difficult to grasp. I talk to friends, I talk to a lot of people about our new thought concepts, even outside of church, and people think that it's just so, simplistic. You mean if I just think I want a new car, I'm going to get a new car? And you try to explain it, it's not that simplistic. You can't have one random thought go through your head and think, just because I randomly thought that, that's going to happen. Obviously, there's a lot more to it. We have to constantly be feeding our body with these constant good thoughts and prosperous thoughts and positive thoughts. And it's interesting because I was thinking this morning when I was thinking about this talk, how easily we accept these laws when it comes to our bodies. We know through nutritionists, if we put good things in our body, the odds are we're going to have a future of good health. If we eat a lot of junk food all the time, then the odds are our future is going to be, riddled with a lot of health challenges. And we accept that law. But when it comes to putting the good things into our mind, a lot of times people don't get that. They don't understand that. I have a good friend who's been out of work for some time and went to an interview for a job recently and felt that he did really good in the interview and it's a job that he really likes. And so, I was giving him the usual, new thought, think positive pep talk. And, it was just so hard to get him to turn his thinking around because I would say, well, think positive. Well, I am thinking positive. It's just that I understand I might not get the job. And, at that point, you just kind of want to hit him and say, wait, you're not getting something. Can I shake you? Because, you know what? It doesn't end at that one thought. You can't have that one positive, inspirational thought and then think you're going to walk through life with all your negativity and all this other baggage that you carry and have that one positive thought. Because, of course, if I heard that before I was a New Thought student, if somebody had walked up to me and said, well, all you have to do really to have this great, happy, healthy, prosperous life is just think happy, healthy, prosperous, and then you'll be fine. But we know that it's not just, this one random thought that we take in. This has to be a lifelong thing, and this is in everything we do. If you don't, first of all, accept the fact that we as New Thought students, in order to absolutely create your future, in order to get to this place where we have these lives of great happiness and great health and great prosperity, we need to change our thinking because a lot of us started out life with a different way of thinking. We've come through a lot of conventional faith belief systems where, we're all sinners from the outset and we need to suffer here on earth to, enjoy life in the hereafter. And of course, if you read the scriptures, we really don't interpret that. I can't imagine what God would say, I'm going to make these people just to let them suffer so that in the end they can come and join me and enjoy this peaceful, beautiful life. I mean, it doesn't make that much sense. So while we're here and we're working on creating our future, because we have futures that are absolutely meant to be happy, healthy, and prosperous. And it all starts up here. One of my favorite sections has always been the part where we talk about the light which we hold to guide aright another's footsteps grows stronger and gives us greater vision. Because I think that's another wonderful concept of New Thought, is that we need to reach out and do what we can for other people. And a lot of times, that's just talking with them and being inspirational and letting them see that, wow, these New Thought people, they have these great lives and they have it all together because they know what to do. And so certainly by, holding your light high to guide somebody else's footsteps, you, in the process, get to see more. Hopefully a lot of us, and if you haven't had the opportunity, let me know and I'll gladly get you a copy. I've had an opportunity to read some of the Catherine Ponder writings because she's another New Thought student who's really got a great grasp. And one of the things that she talks about, which makes perfect sense, is, if you need something, if you have a need, what we really need to do is we need to create a vacuum in our life. We can't just have a need. And how do you create a vacuum? usually there's something going out the other side. So by giving, we create this vacuum in our lives to receive. So it doesn't always have to be, and as Catherine Ponder talks about, sometimes people are really challenged. They don't have, money or extra food to give, but you know what? They have the kindness of maybe, cutting some flowers and taking them and going and talking with a neighbor who's been shut in, or somebody who would like some company. There's so many things we can do when we think we have no resources. We can do so many things to create that vacuum so that all the good is drawn in, and you're creating that vacuum by giving something away. And of course, through it all, when we talk about creating our future, we need to keep our minds in that good place. We need to not say, yeah, I'm being really positive about it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Because you know what, that's kind of like a big hole in the sidewalk that you're going to fall in. The reality is we have to consistently we can't have these random thoughts about what we'd like and then get upset and say, oh, that new thought stuff doesn't work because, you know what, I did have a positive thought 2 months ago, and you know what, nothing's happened since, so I'm not going to stick with it. But the reality is, every day in every way, we need to keep our minds centered and focused on the good, on the positive, and also, wherever we're able to, create that vacuum in your life for that need to be filled by giving something away. When you turn on your vacuum cleaner at home, if that exhaust thing is plugged up, that vacuum's not going to pick up anything. The only way that vacuum works is by letting the air out. That motor is creating that suction, just like we do with our needs in life. Give something away, even if it's, like we talk about here, just holding a light high for somebody else to see, because you're creating that vacuum in life so that all of your needs and all of your challenges can be dealt with every day in every way. So as you go through the week, ask yourself this question: where do I need to redirect my thinking to fully create my own future? I don't want necessarily to have all of my needs and all of my future depending on, the boss or this event or, my spouse. I mean, obviously people are ideally going to want the same things with their spouse and children, but don't let that's not the only thing. I mean, you don't have to follow obediently and have a life that's not fully happy, healthy, and prosperous, because we know that as children of God, and certainly as New Thought students, that's what we're meant to have. So as you go through the week, ask yourself, where do I need to redirect my thinking? Am I always on that positive, prosperous thought? And the good news is that each and every one of us have the power to create our future. There is no one else in the world with more power to shape our future than ourselves. And as much as we might think, it's our boss, it's our pension plan, it's how our children are, it's how my spouse or partner's doing, it actually is you, and it all starts up here. It all starts with our thinking. So we need to redirect our thinking to positive, inspirational, to the great positive thoughts so that we can get there. So no one has more power to shape our future than ourselves. So keeping our thoughts, words, and deeds on track, it does take an effort. We are humans, we live that human experience, and there are going to be days that are so bad that you just can't, for the life of you, find a positive thought anywhere. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to do that, because I know I work out in the world, and you know what? I go through the daily challenges that anybody else does, and there are the hills and the valleys. So it does take an effort to keep your mind on track, because that's the easiest thing to fall into, is the negativity, especially if we get to a situation where we find ourselves surrounded with people who are negative, or they're sort of acidic, and it's hard to break past that. But remember, it's all up here. It all starts up here. So even though it's an effort, the effort is well worth the end result. Imagine your very greatest future and then achieve it. Nothing is out of reach. It's all how we envision it. It's all within us to take ourselves to that new and wonderful place. So as you go this week and you go forward, and know that my future is completely of my creating. It's all within me. And just tell yourself, sit down and have that conversation with yourself. Where do I need to redirect my thinking to make sure that I get there, so that my life is full of the happiness and the health and the prosperity that I know that I am entitled to?